Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ultimate Gardening channel. My name is Emmanuel Arce, well known to be the Ultimate Gardener. Come join me in becoming an Ultimate Gardener day by day. So in today's exciting sprouting video is kind of gonna be like a little garden workday slash trying to save tomatoes that are completely stressed out. So a little background story is that I did a little vegetable garden in the back where the greenhouse used to be, but we moved it in that same location where the greenhouse used to be. I made a vegetable garden off of that, but I completely neglected that area, and all the vegetables that were there were suffering. The cabbage and okra were moved. They're in a way happier spot now. I'm gonna show you guys that in a bit, but we still have squash and tomatoes and one broccoli we still have yet to move, so I want to make sure I get that done today. And so I have a few tomatoes that are looking really bad in that area, and I really want to save them because I started them from seed and I don't want them to go to waste. So like I just cleared out the Black Junior Smart Pots raised bed, I'm gonna use that for my tomatoes because I know one year I had a prolific harvest and crop from those raised bed of cherry tomatoes. So I really want to accomplish that this winter season as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean out the area that the raised bed is gonna be moved to. We're gonna refreshen the soil, dig up the tomatoes, plant them, and then I'm gonna discuss with you guys the care I'm gonna give them so they can rebound from this little mishap we had. So let's go ahead and go to that area now. So Ultimate Gardeners, I'm not gonna cover anything up because it is what it is, gardening life. I still have a lot of work yet to do, but my garden is never completed, and so we're working on it. So this is the state of the vegetable garden that I had. You can see we have one broccoli right there. We have a tomato right here hidden in the corner, one right there as well. We have one right there, and we have one that's actually currently blooming right there. So I want to move these out of the way and move them to a different location with the Black Junior raised bed. And so we're going to clean that out, cleanse that soil again. You can see we have some squash plants mixed in here. We're going to move those hopefully too. And that's pork cucumber. So there's not a lot of sunlight that goes into this area. That's why these have not been doing ever so well, but also because I neglected them. And so this is going to be dedicated to a different area because I'm trying to maximize my gardening space. Hopefully during like the hot summer months I'm able to grow some vegetables here. But for the meantime, let me go ahead and show you guys the little. So I transferred my cabbages here. You can see some of them are still wilting because they're still acclimating to how I transferred them. But you can see that they are clearly doing way better here than where they were. They're getting actually sizable. The okra is growing. The pumpkin is growing as well. So they're really loving this area, and I grew my cabbage here last year as well. So hopefully we have a huge crop of cabbages to pick from here as well. So this is how the cabbage and okra is doing so far. So now let me go ahead and show you guys where the junior raised bed is gonna be located or moved to, and then we're gonna go from there. So this is the plan that we're gonna do. So here I have a little row I made a little row to grow some vegetables, or I actually planted blue daisies here, but they didn't do so well. So the thing I'm gonna do, like I have a beautiful cabbage growing here and a zucchini as well that actually has a small zucchini, so hopefully we can harvest that. But I was planning, because that is not so big, but I feel like I could cut this where this cabbage ends. We're gonna clean this up, level it up, move this stepping stone a little bit that way, and I want to fit it right here because it receives most sun right here. And as you guys know, tomatoes love the sun and they perform best with sun, especially during my winter seasons. And so I feel like this would be a great spot. So the thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and level this out, move the stepping stones, and then just move the raised bed here, and then we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and do that right now. So I moved the raised bed over there and it fit actually perfectly. But look what I found: ant eggs and ant colonies all over the place, and I don't really like ants at all. So the thing I did is I had to spray these so they don't multiply even more, because I unearthed this entire thing, and if I just leave it as is, they're gonna spread around the garden, and I have dealt with ants long enough. So I had to treat those, unfortunately. But here I moved this, and I'm actually gonna fill it up with soil. But the thing I did was I went through with this. I call it my strainer, but this was actually like a plant tray that my dad brought me, and I use this to strain out roots, bark, and anything left over. Like I grew potatoes in here, and you guys know potatoes are very sneaky, so I was able to strain it out, and I found a whole bunch of mini potatoes. I found, I believe, grubs. So the good thing I strained that out, so the soil is now completely soft and ready to go. And also I noticed that all the ants are no longer in here, so I'm gonna refreshen this up with more soil, clean it up, make it more refreshed, and then we're gonna move the tomatoes. So let me go ahead and refresh the soil, fill it all the way to the top, and then I'm gonna record when we're digging these tomatoes up. So to main gardeners, I went ahead and filled it up and actually revamped the soil a little bit, as you could tell. So of course I strained it out, and look how much bark came out of all of that. So I strained out the one that was already in there because there was no disease on the potato mint, so we were good to go. I also went ahead and I added topsoil that I bought, but I shifted that out. I sifted that one out too. And then I added Miracle Grow into the solution so it can revamp everything together because it has a slow release fertilizer in it. But we're also going to fertilize when we transplant the tomatoes. So I actually don't know the varieties of tomatoes. I could already tell one of them is cherry because they bloomed and it has multiple clusters of flowers on it. I don't recall really what varieties I grew, but I know most of them are cherry tomatoes, so that should be good. I'm gonna plant all 4 here, see how it goes. All 4 little tiny tomato cages won't fit, so I'm gonna have to add some type of staking system to it, or I could just figure out how I'm gonna work with it. So let me go ahead and dig up every single tomato to save time, and then we're gonna I'm gonna plant them, and then I'm gonna come back and then show you guys how to water, what I'm gonna do to keep them alive. So we'll be back. So it's the main gardener. So here's a few tips to keep these plants alive if you're in the same situation as I do. Number 1, always stay on top of watering. You want to water for at least 5 days straight until these plants are able to acclimate to their new habitat and start rooting in, because they really need that water supply to develop more roots. Number 2 is you want to make sure when you transplant them, I would recommend, if they're way more older plants, like a bit more developed, I would not recommend fertilizing them, because you don't want to burn off any roots that you accidentally pierced or cut off, because that will damage your plant completely. So no fertilizing from the beginning. But if your plants are small like these, you can go ahead and fertilize them with a little bit of liquid fertilizer, very slight though, to not be overpowering, but just give them a little bit of nutrition to start developing more roots. Number 3 is you want to make sure you stay vigilant on this, because diseases are more susceptible to come when your plants are transplanted, and way more vulnerable if they're in transplant shock. So make sure you stay on top of coming and checking your entire plants over, revising them, looking under the leaves to make sure that all your plants are good to go and they don't have no disease on them. So make sure that's on your list as well. So that's going to be all for this exciting sprouting video, you guys. Hopefully you found this video educational and informative, because I had absolutely fun getting this project out of the way. So thank you all so much for watching this video. May the Lord bless you and your family, and never forget to grow big, ultimate gardeners. Bye guys.